Hello everyone, welcome back to another vegan cooking with me, Andrés. Today I'm going to be making some vegan lasagna. As you can see, I already have my noodles ready. I took out 18 of the lasagna noodles just so I don't want to make too many, which I always end up doing. So I took out 18, enough for my lasagna. And I also have my garlic bread already ready to go into the oven. So I'm just gonna take you with me as I prepare my lasagna. So I already have my water boiling and I'm going to add my lasagna noodles to my water. I like to add oil and salt to my water just so my noodles don't stick to my pot, and also just for some flavor, give the water some flavor so my noodles don't come out super bland. So I'm going to allow that to cook, and then I will start on my filling for my lasagna. And for this lasagna, I'm going to be making a freestyle lasagna. I'm not really going to follow any recipe. I'm just going to stir my noodles so they don't stick to my pot. And while my noodles cook, I will start chopping up my vegetables. So for the filling for my freestyle lasagna, I'm going to be adding some carrots, some mushrooms, jalapeno for spice, onion, tomato. Earlier this morning, I made some vegan steaks. So as you can see, they're already ready for me to cut them, to add them to my filling. And I'm not sticking with any recipe for this lasagna. I'm just gonna freestyle it, add the ingredients that I want to add to it, and that's usually how I like to cook when I cook. Sometimes I do follow recipes, but I also, even when I'm following recipes, I like to kind of add other things, kind of play with the recipe. Maybe add, jalapeno if it doesn't ask for it, to make it spicy. Just have fun with the recipe. So that's why I'm calling it a freestyle lasagna. I'm still going to follow the recipe for my noodles and my sauce, but for the filling, it's gonna be kind of a free-for-all. And I'm just going to peel my carrots first. I'm gonna be using 2 carrots for this recipe. So while I was chopping up my vegetables and my vegan steaks, my oven did start beeping. So I'm going to add my garlic bread to my oven. As you can see, I let it sit for about an hour so it could rise a little, just so it could get bigger. But I'm going to add this to my oven at 475 degrees, and I'm going to bake it for about 15-20 minutes. I'll check on it at 15 minutes. And if it needs more time, I will let it bake for the remainder of the 20 minutes. So my noodles have been cooking for about 20 minutes now, and they look pretty good. So I'm going to turn off the heat. Just let them sit in the water for 10 minutes before I drain them. In the meantime, I'm going to start on my sauce. And for my sauce, I'm going to use 1 can of tomato sauce. And I'm just gonna pour that into my pot. And I'm gonna add some fresh basil to my sauce, just for that basil flavor. And whether it's pizza, spaghetti, or lasagna, I usually try to always make my own sauce. And I'm going to add some Italian seasoning. So I'm going to add some crushed red peppers, some onion powder, and some garlic powder. And I'm also going to add some fresh garlic, because you can't have enough garlic. I absolutely love garlic. Which is funny, because I used to not care too much for garlic, but I used to not care for a lot of spices. I was very bland when I used to cook. I'm just gonna stir all that in, let it cook, and then check to make sure the flavors are where I want them. That tastes really good. It's just perfect. It's also really spicy. And I'm going to now drain my noodles. And I'm just going to let them sit in my drainer for another 10 minutes, just so all the water can drain out, and also so my noodles can cool just a little. So I have my skillet ready to go, so I can start adding my filling ingredients. And first I'm going to add some garlic to my oil. It might splash a little because it has been heating for a little bit. And I'm going to add some onion powder to my oil, garlic powder, and Italian seasoning. And I'm just going to add my vegetables into my skillet. And I'm just going to give it a taste to see if it needs any salt. Oh yeah, it definitely needs some salt. So I'm just going to sprinkle some salt and continue stirring. And I'm going to call this a Mexitalian lasagna just because of the jalapenos and the little extra things that I added to it. And also my sauce does have peppers in it, so it's quite spicy. So if you're making this at home, you know, you can leave out the spice. But personally for me, I do enjoy that spice. It gives the food more flavor. And also my boyfriend loves spicy food. Ooh, and my garlic bread looks ready, so I'm going to take that out. Ooh, I should have only left it for 15 minutes. It did get a little brown from the top, but that should be fine because I'm going to slice it and then add butter, more garlic, and some cheese for cheesy garlic bread. So now I'm going to start assembling the first layer of my lasagna before I start adding the filling to it. So here are my noodles, and this is the dish I'll be using. And I'm going to add some vegan Daiya mozzarella to the bottom of my noodles for extra cheesiness. Daiya is probably the best quality vegan cheese out there right now. I love the way it melts. It melts so easily, and it's really good too. So I'm going to add some of my sauce. I think I'm going to have to make more sauce because this is going to be enough for just the bottom layer. So I'm just going to repeat the same recipe for my second batch of lasagna sauce. And I'm going to add the first layer of my filling to the bottom layer. And I'm just going to spread that out so it's all evenly distributed. And I'm going to add some more Daiya vegan mozzarella cheese. And I'm going to add the second layer of noodles. And I'm going to add the second layer of my lasagna sauce. And I'm going to add the rest of my mozzarella, which isn't a lot, but there's already a lot of mozzarella in the inside, so that should be pretty good. Maybe I'll add some nooch just to give it that cheesy flavor. So here's my lasagna. I'm gonna put it in the oven and bake it for 45 minutes at 375 degrees. But first, I learned something. By adding foil, it prevents it from drying out. So I'm going to add foil to the top of my lasagna. So I just cut my garlic bread in half, and I'm going to glaze it with my vegan butter, and to this I added some onion powder, some garlic powder, and some Italian seasoning. So I'm just going to spread this on my garlic bread. I will sprinkle some nooch to the top of my bread just to give it that cheesiness since I don't have any more mozzarella. So I'm just going to put it back into the oven for about 10 minutes so my butter can soak into my bread, and also so my bread can get that crunchiness. And my oven just started beeping, so that means my lasagna is ready. So I will take it out of the oven. Whew, that looks delicious. Look how beautiful that looks. So everything came out really good, as you can see. My freestyle Mexitalian lasagna and my delicious garlic bread. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.